Hello, everyone, and welcome to the commentary of Nyxa Stuff, episode 25, Redemption. This was the season one finale, and this was the second big production of Nyxa Stuff, following up Trauma and yeah, I think I said this in the Trauma commentary, but Trauma was a big awakening for me. It really brought out my passion of Nyx's stuff, and I kind of realized how much I actually like doing Nyx's stuff. And so, after Trauma, I pushed to make six more episodes to reach 25 episodes by the end of the year. And I did it. I made six episodes in the span of 2 months, which at the time was crazy. Like, I think they had a combined runtime of like an hour and 15 minutes, those six episodes. Um, which, now I'm not making as many episodes, but the runtime is, longer. Like in November 2022, I made about 55 minutes or so worth of episodes. And so, it really wasn't that much. Things have changed since then, but at the time, going from Trauma to making five normal episodes that were longer than any prior episodes, um, and then turning back around to make this was crazy. Now, I'm gonna get back to the production in a second, but I just want to talk about this intro first. So this was really simple. This was just a bunch of like this was just showing off a bunch of stuff that I talked about in prior episodes. Like here we have some gimmick set boxes. Here's the DS. There's the weird ninja game from the end of the Ninja Gaiden episode. This is minifigure distribution, portable Spider-Man games, the Advent calendar episode. So yeah, this was just like, oh, here's all the stuff that I talked about this year. And then we have Dwayne. And so yeah, that's the title sequence. This was kind of the stuff that had to solidify the name next to stuff, which I'm not the happiest with, but you know, it's kind of fine. It'd be really hard to go back and change all this, which the name next to stuff is fine, but yeah, Redemption. Then this opening here, I kind of had the idea of just over the opening credits, it'd just be like a mini Nike's Stuff episode. So this is about Lego set boxes, which probably wasn't the best idea in an episode about a Revenge of the Sith game for Game Boy Advance. But and that shot of the pieces boiling in the water, I didn't like so I boiled water, I poured the pieces in there, and then I poured the pieces out. I didn't boil the water with the pieces in it. That wouldn't have been good, but I don't know. I like that joke. But yeah, this is just a mini Nexus Stuff episode over the credits, and yeah, I don't know really what else to say. So I guess I can jump back into production. So yeah, I made five episodes in between Trauma and Redemption, and I got the last few done like really early, like the Ninjago 2022 episode. I edited um the night like leading into Thanksgiving. So like I was up until like 4 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day editing that episode. And then the Spider-Man games episode, I just finished that on like December 5th, I think. I was filming the 24th episode on like December 1st, and then that one was done like over a week before it was actually released. And so I was getting all that out of the way in preparation for this episode because I knew it was going to be a big one. And yeah, the production was honestly cut pretty close. I mean, I was filming pretty late. I was editing very very late. There's a little keyframing here to show the frame being knocked off the wall. I talked about this in the trauma commentary. The reason the frame shattered is because I accidentally stepped on it. Actually, during the production of Trauma, after I shot everything, I accidentally stepped on it, and the frame shattered. So I just broke it in universe to explain it, basically. Um, but yeah, this stuff. Everything is so tight because there was really no space in my room to film, like place a tripod and stuff like that. It was difficult. There was such sparse room, and it's even worse now since I got a new desk and new bed. There is like no space. Uh, so uh that was part of the reason why I did want to set up a game room in our basement to have more space to film, and it's very nice. It's nice having my room as like a office instead of a filming space. Um, but yeah, so we just have stuff happening. This is getting out the legendary game. And so, anyways, back to production. Where was I? So this was a pretty big turnaround. I was pretty close to missing the actual date. I think all the live action stuff was filmed on the 17th. I remember I left school early and uh, saw No Way Home that night. I think that was December 17th. And so I got home from school and I just filmed most of this live action stuff. And yeah, it was very tight space. Those boxes, the Ninjago set boxes to the right, are hiding a mess. Like, my room was a disaster. It was ridiculous. And so a lot of the framing stuff like that, and like some of the editing is just, it's pretty bad. This was very rushed, and um, the keyframing looks a little choppy because I was trying to finish this at school. It was the last day of school for winter break, and I was trying to do all the keyframing stuff, but I didn't have the shots I needed yet. So instead, what I did was I did the keyframing against the green screen, and then I had a program on the computer that could do green screen. It was a very laggy program, so it could barely do green screen, but it could do green screen. So I did that, and it didn't turn out the best, and that's like, it's just, there's all that stuff that just makes this a not very great episode on the like live action short film side. However, this part, the actual review segment, I'm pretty proud of. I feel like I really, at this point, I was pretty good at, reviewing games and like editing all that stuff. I'm pretty happy with this stuff. Of course, this was the also third installment of Gaming on the Go, which I'm really glad I finally got this off the. I'm really glad that I finally got it off the ground, and I'm still doing it. I did the portable Lego Batman games last month, and I got some. I got a couple more planned for next year. So I'm glad that it's actually kind of a mini series, and so this is kind of a push for that. Um, Now what else was there? So yeah, I was filming pretty late. And then editing was even later. I wanted to have it done by Christmas, but due to a bunch of just how long it took to edit, um, I wasn't able to finish it for Christmas. And I almost just straight up didn't finish it after Christmas. I mean, I knew I wanted to get out on the 29th, but the day after Christmas, which was one of the prime days to work on it, I just I did nothing on it. I got a new TV that day, and so I was literally just downstairs playing Bully all day. Um, so yeah, that happened. But it was the next day, December 27th. That was a day. Yeah, no, it was 2 days before it actually came out. December 27th, and that's when I made the final push to finish it because in the morning I got my COVID booster shot, and in preparation to possibly, getting sick the next day because of the booster, I finished it on the 27th, and I'm so glad I did because I did get sick and it was awful. That was probably one of the worst days of my life. But the day before it, I finished Redemption, which was mainly just shooting the very, very ending and just finishing up the editing. I was pretty close to it, but it was still, it was still pretty close. It was pretty stressful, but I'm happy I got it done. It didn't turn out the best. A lot of the editing is very wonky, but I mean, again, I think this part talking about the game, I think it's pretty good. I mean, I love this game. It's one of my favorite Game Boy Advance games. It's a lot of fun, and I wanted to do it justice with the nicest stuff idea, and I think I did a pretty good job with it. I'm really happy with it. Um, and so yeah, I think that's the main thing. I think that's I kind of covered the main parts of development. It was fairly straightforward. Um, yeah, it was just a lot. And I'm kind of mad that I didn't give myself that much of a break because like the next Nexus Stuff episode came out on January 14th, Jog's anniversary, which was like 2 or 3 weeks after this. No, it was like barely 2 weeks after this one, which is ridiculous. That is such a minuscule turnaround. I'm planning on taking a at least a month off. I think I'm planning on having the first episode of season three coming out in February instead of January, because I just need a break from this stuff. I like making this stuff, but especially this year, there's a lot of projects, with school and stuff like that. That's just like I need a break from film, and even then, I'm not getting a break from film because I'm still working on a ton of other projects. I just need a break from Nike's stuff because this stuff takes, a long time researching, scripting, editing, especially like these game related episodes. I have to play through the game, and a game like this isn't really that long, and I played it a lot, so it's pretty easy to write about. But at the same time, this is a game that I play a lot, so like writing about it wasn't that hard. But there's so much other stuff to this episode, um, that was a pain. So yeah, whew, it was a lot. I like that shot with all the fades showing how similar each level an Attack of the Clones is. Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like the review segment is pretty well made. If I was to cut it down to just the review segment and just release that, I feel like you'd have a fairly competent Ike's Stuff episode. Um, and that's a big thing. I really wanted to make this. It's like, I mean, this is a game that I wanted to talk about all year. So I didn't want to skimp out on anything. So I just wanted to. I didn't want the short film part to take over. I wanted a good beefy part where I do talk about the game. It's just like the Mario Odyssey episode where it's just like you know it's something that I care about, and it's because I care about it so much that I want to go the extra mile and make it a bigger film. And I guess I haven't talked about the whole redemption aspect where, this is a pretty, I mean, this is just straight up a sequel to Trauma where, after Lego Marvel Superheroes was awful, it kind of redeemed itself to where I kind of realized, it's not a great game, but I enjoyed it and I gave it the goofy little extra importance of it's kind of just like my fun little tag along buddy here who I'm just whining about the game to, which is kind of funny because usually um there's no one like it's never really talked about or emphasized who I'm specifically talking to when I'm doing these like review segments, but in this one it's kind of like, oh, I'm showing it to um like Marvel superheroes, so that's kind of fun. Another annoying thing about the production, this one, is that at the same time, uh, I was working on, rearranging and cleaning our basement for the game room, which is at the end of this episode. So alongside working along this, I had to prepare the basement, which, I think that's the big reason why I didn't get it done for Christmas, because I was trying to finish up the game room, which, it was a lot. It was a very busy month, and um, yeah, but hey, I got it done. Um, yeah, I like this game. I like the DS version. It's pretty fun. I don't know. I mean, that's the other thing about these review segments, where it's just like I don't really know what to say about it. It's just kind of like there's not really much to say commentary wise, because like everything that I think of it is like that. But you can see there how choppy the Lego Marvel Superheroes is. It looks pretty bad. Um, but you know, it's so hard doing commentary on these sections. But yeah, wow, we can make it timed. I'm trying to think what else. I guess, I mean, I did change the thumbnail too. The original thumbnail was quite bad. I mean, that the morning, I think I delayed, I think I delayed, no, it was the One Year of Nights stuff that I delayed because of thumbnail issues with that thumbnail, but I had to remake this episode's thumbnail too. I don't think it was ever released with the original thumbnail, but it was awful. It was like kind of like some like hellish landscape, I guess, and it just looked really bad. I'll probably throw it up on screen, but I want it to be more light, show that oh hey the game isn't that bad. Then here we go into the Attack of the Clones review, and this is basically just an abridged version of the criticisms to where this was like kind of a small remake of the first episode because I think the points that I make in that episode are pretty decent. It's just like the way that they're presented, like the how the script is done and the editing and the what's the word um performance, like execution. I'm not entirely sure what the word I'm looking for is. Um, but it was. I mean, at the time of this episode, uh, the actual recording of the Attack of the Clones episode was a year prior. So it's 2 years prior at this point, which is ridiculous. So this was kind of just like a short, brief summary of all the problems and and it is the truth where I do prefer Lego Marvel Superheroes on DS to Attack of the Clones like Game Boy Advance. I mean, there's some fun that I can get from Lego Marvel on DS. I occasionally pop it in, screw around because it's a pad, but I still get some fun joy out of it. Unlike Attack of the Clones, which is just bad. We have the little emotional segment, and we go for a walk. This scene, Drew helped me shoot. It was just one day after school. We just ran down to the clubhouse that's at the end of my street and filmed this quickly. Um, and there was some extra dialogue here that I cut out because part of the issue was trauma was just like some unnecessary fluff, and so I cut some of that out. I'm pretty happy with how this fight turned out. Like all this stuff was, animated against the green screen, and then added over that stuff in post. But I mean, I think it looks really good. Some of the audio didn't really turn out that great. I was still working on getting good at shooting, outside and stuff like that. But I mean, this keyframing, I like how this looks. Um, it's just a fun action scene. I think I love the music that I chose. I bought Final Fantasy VII on Switch after Christmas, and I fell in love with the battle theme, so I wanted to use it here. And it's genuinely one of my favorite video game songs, and especially this part where like climaxes, and I feel like it just goes perfectly with the scene where we're trying to lock it up as the music kind of crescendos, and there's a little lag for me. But yeah, just locking it up and just barely making it. Um, I just love the music, and I was a little skeptical about the music choice at first, but honestly, later I'm so glad I made that choice because I genuinely love it so much. Um, and then this is the last Nike's stuff scene shot in my room. I'm pretty sure. I think no, there was one shot in the Ninjago intros episode where I'm at my desk. Um, but I mean, besides that, this is the last extended scene in there, which you know thank God. I kind of hated filming the episodes in my room because there was no comfortable place to really film it. There just wasn't much space. Each production was just a mess. Lighting was bad, all that stuff. Um, and it just wasn't that fun. And then here we have the game room introduction, and the lighting is also pretty bad here. This is before I start using the umbrella lights. But there's been a lot of rearranging since then. I've moved the 7800 and all that stuff. Um, and I think it's kind of funny. Just like, oh, look at my epic game room. But you know, pretty fun introduction. I've added some posters and stuff since then. Obviously, there's a good amount of differences, but It was a very, fun introduction. It was a very exciting time too. And then we ends with the new frame, which, yeah, how fun. It redeemed itself. It admitted it's bad, basically. That's just meant to be a sweet little ending to this. Um, and so yeah, and the the tiltedness and the bad lighting is so funny to me. It's just like, I think it's cute to see, the first episode shot in a new location and just seeing how rough it is, because it does take a while to, when you start shooting a new location regularly, it takes a little bit for you to fully develop that place, with like how you want to shoot it, lighting, all that stuff like that to make it look good. Now I think it looks good, but back then it was rough. And then the credits, I talk about the Ninjaga core sets, and this was kind of a defense of them. It was just, a similar thing to the intro, where it's just like, oh, let's just do a little mini Nikes of Stuff episode over the credits. Um, and yeah, I didn't understand at this point that Core was kind of its own new thing. That's why I said, how is Nia gone? Even though, Nia kind of survived. But yeah, this is the credits, and then also the last shot at me where I say don't buy them. I didn't mirror it, so everything is mirrored, uh, which is kind of funny. But yeah, there we go. That is nice stuff. Episode 25, Redemption. It's pretty crazy that it's already been a year. 2022 just kind of flew by, but I'm really happy with the stuff that I made in 2022. And I was happy with Redemption at the time, and hopefully by the time 2020, the end of 2023 hits, and I do a commentary on episode 50, um, I'll feel the same way.